Sales meeting talking to Heath from Sarstedt about the S-Monovette blood collection system.
All right, thanks, John. With the S-Monovette, what we're trying to do is improve overall sample quality. Typically what we see in the vet world today is folks are drawing into a plain or untreated syringe and then they're aliquoting or sampling into smaller tubes. With our system, it's a 2-in-1 system, so you can actually manually aspirate the sample or you can treat it just like a vacuum tube. So our needle would be comparable to the hub and the needle pre-attached. So you can treat it just like a syringe. You can attach, you can go into the vein, and then you can manually aspirate that sample. You can draw this as quickly or as slowly as you'd like it, really whatever the vein or your patient's going to allow you to do. So then once you draw this tube back, you're going to lock this plunger into place and then this piece just snaps off. So in essence, your syringe becomes your transfer tube or your what you're going to send off to your ClinPath lab. Now the other way to use this would be just like a multi-sample system or like a vacuum system. So you can take these and by pulling these plunger back and snapping them off, you actually are creating a vacuum in all of these tubes. So then, once you pierce the vein and you attach these tubes, they're going to fill automatically. And then you can switch and you can draw as many tubes as you are allowed there with one stick. We have tube sizes that go all the way from a 10 mil on the upper end down to a 1.1 to 1.2 mil on the lower end. So it's suitable for large and small animal. Advantage to the system, again, is this is all that you're throwing away each time. So this is all that's going in your sharps container, much less waste and disposal costs. Some other features, if you need to do a blood smear, we have a attachment piece that has a blunt cannula on the end. You can attach that and then go to your slide, make your blood droplet, and then use that to smear down the slide for your testing there. We have all the major pieces that any of our competitors have. Butterfly needles, sometimes there's a need for that. It makes it a multi-sample attachment on the end, and we also have attachment pieces to enable you to do a line draw. So this has a lure fitting. You can go on the end of your catheter or established line that you have, and then again you can manually aspirate your sample off of that line draw. We also have a piece that allows you for urine collection. Any kind of cystocentesis that you want to do, you just attach whatever needle that you currently use in the house. It's just a friction fit to the end of that device there, and then you manually draw your sample back and snap this piece off. One difference in our urine and our blood collection system is this base doesn't lock into place. So once you go into your centrifuge, you can spin this down. This has a conical bottom. If there's some sediment that builds at the bottom of this tube and you want to take a look at it under a microscope, you'll go over a sink and you can actually push that sediment to the top of the tube as opposed to having to pipette out or pour the tube off and risk losing some of the sediment. We also have a couple different versions of the S-Monovette that's more for single use collection. So again, this is going to work with whatever needle that you're currently using in-house, but you're limited somewhat. It's one stick, one tube, no switching of tubes while you're in the vein, but it works the same way. Draw this plunger back, snap it off, and then you've got your tube. You're collecting your sample directly into the tube. You'll see that we actually have beads in our tubes. We coat these beads with the additive as opposed to having the additive sit at the bottom of the tube or on the sides of the tube. So you're not having to actually manually mix and the sample as much, and it's much better for the blood cells and the quality of your sample.
Terrific. Thanks, Heath.
Thanks, John.